It's a weekday afternoon in Steenberg. Police are conducting stop and search operations on vehicles and individuals moving about the area. This in response to an increase in murder and attempted murder within the City of Cape Town boundaries. In the past several months, mass shootings have taken place almost weekly. Since the beginning of April, between 40 and 60 firearms have been confiscated weekly. More than 900 people have been arrested for illegal possession of firearms and 842 weapons and numerous rounds of ammunition recovered. The new police chief for Mitchell's Plain says something sinister is afoot with a number of weapons smuggled in from outside the province. A large cache of weapons earmarked for Mitchell's Plain was confiscated recently. It's under investigation on a national level. For Brigadier Brian Miller, the fight against gangsterism and its role in destroying of communities is paramount.
Police patrols have been set up in the area following last night's killings. No arrests have yet been made.
A gunfight kicks off in Manenberg, Cape Town. This is not an uncommon occurrence. In fact, in July 2016, 355 rounds were fired in this gang-ridden area. That's an average of 11 shots a day.
In recent years, the violence has intensified. Drive-by shootings, targeted killings, and sudden bursts of gunfire have become part of the rhythm of life for many families. One of the most haunting examples was a drive-by shooting in Manenberg, where 3 men were gunned down in a single incident. Moments like these echo across the Cape Flats and leave scars that ripple through entire communities.
Police have uncovered an assortment of arms and ammunition at a house in Mitchell's Plain, an area plagued by gang violence. 19 firearms, 1,500 rounds of ammunition, 3 gun safes, 26 magazines, a stun grenade, a silencer, and a shooting practice target board were concealed in cooler boxes and safes. Officials say guns remain the weapon of choice in the Western Cape.
On the night of September 1st, Western Cape Police raided a house in Mitchell's Plain. Inside, they say they discovered 19 firearms, about 1,500 rounds of ammunition, 26 magazines, 3 gun safes, a stun grenade, a silencer, and even a shooting practice target board. Much of it, according to officials, was hidden in cooler boxes and safe. Detectives are questioning people linked to the address. At the time of reporting, no arrests had yet been confirmed. Regional officials publicly praised the operation, calling it a major step in the fight against gang violence. Broadcasters and local outlets carried images and summaries of the haul as the story spread through the Cape Flat. Seizing weapons is not just a headline, it's about disrupting supply. Every illegal firearm taken off the street reduces the odds of the next shooting, and caches like this suggest organized storage and distribution supporting gangs across the metro.
Mitchell's Plain is rife when it comes to gangsterism. 99% of our shootings is obviously gang-related. We identified about 16 different types of gangs in Mitchell's Plain. And unfortunately, some of them the different groupings are staying in one section of a community, which obviously will cause conflict. And what we also established is it is normally about the drug turf. Some of these gangsters are encroaching on the other gangsters, and that's why there's conflict between them.
Willis says there was a period of 20 days with no gang violence. But a flare-up resulted in the deaths of a number of people.
We have to adapt to the strategies of these gangsters, but as I say, it's an active thing. Our operational plan can't be a set-in-stone thing. It's a fluid thing. We have to change every day to adapt to what is it that these gangsters are planning.
At least 13 people have reportedly been killed in the latest wave of gun violence in the Western Cape. They were all reportedly shot dead within just the last week. There are also reports of school children being targeted by gangsters using WhatsApp.
In early July 2025, multiple shootings across different streets left 5 people dead and 7 more wounded. These weren't isolated events. they form part of a larger, escalating pattern. Violence in these communities is deadly, rapid, and unpredictable, erupting suddenly and leaving devastation in its wake. In response, local police, crime intelligence units, and specialized task teams have tried to clamp down on gang activity. Patrols were increased, raids were carried out, and intelligence-led operations were launched. In Manenberg, anti-gang unit teams made multiple arrests after tracking suspects to various hideouts. Officers followed leads, spoke to community members, and moved quickly whenever gunfire was reported. New technology has also been deployed. Between April and June of 2025, gunshot detection systems were installed in several hotspot areas. The impact was immediate. More than half of all firearms recovered during that period came from the zones monitored by the technology. For the first time, authorities could pinpoint exactly where shots were fired, speeding up response times and allowing them to trace weapons more effectively. The combination of intelligence, technology, and increased police presence signaled a more determined push against the gangs. But despite these improvements, the core problem remains. Guns continue to flood the streets. In one raid in Mitchell's Plain, officers uncovered a staggering stockpile: 19 illegal guns and over 15,000 rounds of ammunition hidden in a residential home. In Manenberg, after one shooting, a suspect was caught with a loaded 9mm pistol that, when traced, turned out to originate from a completely different province. This shows how firearms move fluidly through criminal networks, passing from hand to hand and neighborhood to neighborhood, unaffected by borders or enforcement efforts. This is the heart of the crisis. Arrests are made, guns are seized, and houses are raided, but the supply of weapons does not stop. For every cash taken off the streets, several more remain in circulation. For every gun police recover, new ones enter the system. Experts have long warned that the mass shootings plaguing Cape Town are tied directly to the ongoing flow of illegal firearms, guns smuggled, stolen, imported, or circulated through corrupt channels. Until this supply line is cut off, communities continue to pay the price. Understanding how the cycle of violence works helps explain why it persists. A gun is smuggled into the region and passed among gangs for different purposes. It may be used in retaliation, then handed off for a turf war, or used to intimidate rivals or residents. When shootings increase, police respond with raids and arrests. A gun might be traced or confiscated, but before the dust settles, another appears and another shooting erupts. The cycle simply restarts. In places like Manenberg, much of the recent violence has been linked to conflicts between major gangs competing for territory, drug routes, and money. These turf wars ignite quickly and spread far beyond the original dispute. Police rely heavily on tips from residents, and many brave community members quietly pass along what they know.